GM, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is Tuesday, the 26th of November, and let's get straight into the Bitcoin chart because Bitcoin is currently experiencing a bit of a pullback. We can see that Bitcoin has been rejected yesterday and has started to come down today to settle around about currently the 92,500 level. We have gone as low as 91,500. So Bitcoin under a little bit of pressure. We've also seen the altcoin market starting to come off a bit as well. Nothing too crazy, nothing sort of too worrying at the moment. If we just look at where Bitcoin has come to, it's pretty much come back down to the level it was at prior to this ascending triangle breakout. We're coming just in here back to around sort of like the 91, 92,000 level, still above this ascending trend line, still sort of above the Fibonacci extension level. So if we just look at this from our summer consolidation, we're still above, I think it's around 88,000. So yes, I am not too worried right now about Bitcoin. Obviously, the 100,000 level breakout will have to wait. I still believe it is inevitable. I still think likely what will happen from here is we will see some consolidation and reaccumulation, and Bitcoin will probably make another attempt at 100,000, I would think, over the next month, likely in December now. Obviously, we've just got 4 days left of November to go. But yeah, I think that, look, there's a possibility we come a little bit lower here, potentially down to sort of 90,000, 89. A dip below 90,000 would not surprise me whatsoever. And I think, to be honest, just trying to provide a little bit of calm here because look, I hear people talking about much lower targets already. I don't really think we're going to go much lower. I think probably the majority of this move is done. I mean, it's currently an 8.2% pullback. What would 10% be? A 10% pullback would be, yeah, just under 90,000, 89.8. And obviously that would then allow for this daily 20 moving average to catch up to price as well. It's something that Bitcoin has liked to base on in the past. So look, I think that is a likely outcome. If we just draw on a Fibonacci retracement as well from our last sort of swing low, which is all the way back right at the start of November, you can see what an explosive November we've had. We're currently resting on the 236. That's not a really significant Fibonacci level, but it is one of our numbers that we do track. Obviously, the 382, which is definitely a stronger, more likely Fibonacci retracement level, is coming in around about 87.2. So look, potentially we do dip a bit lower. We take this moving average. We could sort of run down to around about sort of 87. I don't really see price going much lower than that. Obviously, we have this sort of like demand coming in from sort of earlier on in the month, around about that sort of 87, 86 level that I think will start to step in. So yeah, not too much of a concern for now. Obviously, something to bear in mind, which I do want to briefly talk about, is just looking at when we have seen corrections in Bitcoin this year. Typically, we see those corrections coming in towards the end of the month, and they sort of bottom out at the start of the new month. So if we just look at the last time sort of price made a high, it was right at the end of November, and right at the end of October, and we bottomed out right at the start of November, around about the 3rd it was. If we then look back to this high here, again, end of September, and then we bottomed out on the 10th of October. If we go back to this high, it was towards the end of August, so the 25th of August. We bottomed out on I think that's the 6th of September. This one, 29th of July, bottomed. Of course, this was a big liquidation event, early August, 5th of August. It sort of changes a little bit here, but you can kind of call this high, I guess, the end of May. And obviously this low came in for July, early July. Yeah, I mean it's really we've seen this trend just over the past like sort of 2, 3 months. Potentially we're going to see something similar. I think there's probably a few reasons for this, but of course we had been looking at the moon cycles as well. Usually we're getting the full moons coming in the middle of the month, which is when Bitcoin tends to outperform, and then it tends to be at the start of the new month when we get the bear moon, which is when Bitcoin seems to experience continued downside before putting in a low. So, look, I think sort of timing wise, do we sort of chop around this level over the next few days? Maybe in a week's time, we take one more move lower, and then potentially we're going sort of onwards and upwards from there. I think that's quite plausible. If we just let's see if we can get a path here, so we can put a path on. So I personally think we might see a little bounce here today. I think over the next week, maybe into the start of December, we get another push lower. I'm not saying it will come down and tag the 382, but it could do. And then we see a decent bounce from that level, potentially sort of come in here, a little bit of sideways, and then into the end of December, we're going higher. We're pushing through that 100K. Um, just looking at sort of the timing of this. Let's see. Let's see if we can adjust this slightly. I think this probably happens a lot quicker, actually. So I think probably by the second week of December, we're challenging all-time highs again. Maybe a slight pullback, and we probably see some extension then into the end of the year. Let's just adjust this and do something like that. So yeah, in my opinion, I think something like this could happen. Something like this could happen, and maybe we come up to around about 110 by the end of the year. Maybe we get this move in January. Who knows? Who knows? But I'm thinking this is for me, this is a probable path for Bitcoin over the next month or two. So let's leave that on there for now and see how that plays out. Um, One more final thing to say on Bitcoin. Obviously, we have talked about this 100K level being psychological resistance. We talked about the 102K level being our Fibonacci extension. And if we go onto the weekly, we will see that. Uh, I personally think with this 100K being slightly front run and us getting this correction now, it's unlikely for me that we run up to 100,000 or just above 200,000 and then get more of a sustained pullback. I think, look, with this consolidation here, this is actually fairly healthy and bullish. This gives the market the opportunity to reset a bit. And I think from this sort of higher base, we're then more likely to be able to get through 100,000 from the higher base as opposed to just sort of running straight up with no meaningful pullback at all. So, like I say, even if this is a 10 to 15% pullback in Bitcoin, I think that is probably enough to reset this market. And if we just look at the liquidation heat map as well, this can give us an idea as to where the liquidity is starting to build up around price. Just wait for this to load. And as you can see, we're really starting to get a lot of orders now, starting to stack up above price between here and 100,000. Obviously, there's a little bit down here, but not much below 90,000. So look, potentially, Bitcoin makes another sort of stab a bit lower, closer to that 90K level, take out these liquidations, and then starts to run higher. That would pretty much tie in with the current path that I've drawn. If we look at the 48-hour heat map as well, that will sort of give us an idea of the liquidations over the last 2 days. And as you can see, there's plenty between sort of 90,000 and 100,000. So, yeah, I'm thinking to myself, potentially we take more and more stab lower and then we start to grind higher again. Or it could be that this has been significant enough on the downside and we start to grind higher. So again, just looking at that path, I think, I'm not sure if this happens. There's probably, a second path you can draw here where Bitcoin just kind of grinds up and looks to then sort of follow the later part of this path with a sort of breakout into sort of mid to late December time. So that's Bitcoin. Looking at Ethereum now, and we can see Ethereum, like we said yesterday, it was showing some relative strength. It made a new local high and right now starting to pull back a little bit. So we can see that, can you call that a pullback? I mean, really, it's just consolidation. Ethereum is starting to sort of step its way higher. I wouldn't want to see Ethereum go too much lower from here, but it could come down as Bitcoin may tag its 20 moving average, could even come down as low as this 200-day moving average, sort of take out some of the liquidity and liquidations under these lows and then make a push higher. But as I said in the past, I do think that Ethereum likely makes a move towards 3,800 by the end of this year. So no major concerns at the moment on Ethereum. Solana has pulled back, so Solana's seeing a bit of a deeper correction. Just looking at the measurement on the Solana pullback so far, I mean, it's down about 15%. So decent correction on Solana. Obviously, it's coming into this sort of daily swing high here around about the 222 level. That's what we've come down and tagged. I think with Solana, it's maybe a little bit easier to pick up a Fibonacci retracement. So we can do it from this sort of swing low to this swing high. And what would you know? It's perfect 618 retrace into the golden pocket. And we're starting to see some demand come in for Solana there. So Solana looking relatively strong. I'm going to take this Fibonacci off now as I don't think it's relevant anymore. And this one here too, it's no longer relevant. So yeah, Solana looking fairly good here. Just dropping down to the 4 hour. We can obviously see as well that we're starting to come into some of these moving averages. I don't think we go down to $200 on Solana. Like I say, it depends what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin does sort of roll over and come down further, potentially Solana comes down to 786. Or I think worst case scenario, it comes down and it tags its 200 4 hour, 200 moving average on the 4 hour chart. Just going back to the daily, yeah, I mean, we're still pretty overextended from these longer term moving averages, so they'll take a little bit of time to catch up with price. But yes, obviously the hit of the 20-day moving average and the 618. So I think there is a decent chance of a bounce here for sure. Whether this correction plays out for a few more days and we go a little bit lower, that could happen. Obviously gives things more of a chance to reset, but Solana looks fairly strong to me where it is right here. Pepe is, well, it's come in, it's done exactly what we said it could do, and that is make the retest of the prior all-time high. So this is an area that I said I would be interested in sort of getting some positions onto Pepe. I've actually opened up, or shall I say, added to my Pepe longs today at this level on this retest. So this is perfectly normal, healthy to see this retest of the previous all-time high, and I personally think that Pepe likely moves on and pushes on higher from here. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the low for Pepe. Of course, if Bitcoin, if Solana start to come down a little bit further, I think worst case scenario for Pepe is it sort of spikes down lower. Absolute worst case, I think we come back down to this 13 level. But I think Bitcoin would definitely need to go below 90,000, maybe as low as 87 for this to happen. I mean, just looking at the current dip that we've seen on Pepe so far from the all-time high, we're looking at a 30% pullback already, or well, back to the previous all-time highs of 33% pullback. And if we were to come all the way down here, that is your 50% pullback. So look, do I think that's going to happen? Possibly not. If we just look at the previous swing low on Pepe and we can run that up to the high, we can see that Pepe has, can't see where the high is here. There we go. Right. I mean, Pepe has almost come down to its 50% level. almost come down to its 50% level. It's around about here, around about this 1.7. So maybe Pepe has one more spike lower. I like to see, especially in fast trending markets, I like to see sort of 50% retracements happen, and the 50% retracement from this low up to this high is coming in just slightly under this support here. So potentially we wick a bit lower, people get a bit panicked and scared, liquidate some long positions, people start calling for, down to all the way down to 1.3, and then the market moves higher. So Pepe, I think, is a good zone to accumulate around here, and we can visualize that. I'm just going to draw one of my sort of lovely golden boxes on here, as I think that yeah, Pepe is into a good area of support here. Let's just move that up slightly. So yeah, I think it's a good point to bid Pepe. It's about 50% of this massive gold candle as well. 50% from swing low to swing high, previous all-time high, 20-day moving average. Plenty of confluence for me, so I wouldn't expect Pepe to close lower than here, providing Bitcoin and Solana behave themselves. And let's just take a quick look at traditional markets. So the dollar is still consolidating, looks to be trying to put in a reversal, but really want to see it get below this 106 level to confirm that there has been a trend break from sort of higher highs, higher lows. So let's see how that plays out over the next few days. As for the stock market, the S&P still grinding on higher. So we talked about this. We've been reaccumulated on this 20-day moving average. Obviously, this is the moving average that Bitcoin's currently at, and starting to grind higher. NASDAQ, similar situation, came a little bit lower, but starting to grind higher. So that's really it. That is the update. Obviously, just going back to Bitcoin, just to recap, obviously Bitcoin has pulled back. At the moment, we are retesting the prior sort of daily highs around about this sort of 92, 91 and a half area. We're still above this ascending trend line. We're not yet at our 20-day moving average, but I think there's a strong possibility we could come down to that area. But I'm expecting Bitcoin probably to get reaccumulated between here and 87,000, and likely to make its way back to 100,000 over the next few weeks, and probably taking out the 100,000 level before the end of the year. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this analysis, we're doing this analysis every single day. So please do like, share, and subscribe if not done so already. There will be more and more additional content videos coming up over the next few days. I made a couple of extra videos yesterday, one about XRP, and more specifically, a warning on XRP saying don't buy XRP. So if you want to find out why I'm saying don't buy XRP, please go and check out the XRP video. There was also a video on a meme coin that I'm very bullish on right here. That is Wojak. So if you're interested in your meme coins and you would like to potentially pick up a meme coin that has really good potential for this bull run, please do check out that video as well. I'll be back again, same time, same place tomorrow. So have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you all again soon. GN.